Video 3 will explore saving the keystrokes to a data file. We must first begin by excluding two particular keys from being logged. The mouse sends the same interrupt to the operating system that the keyboard does, so therefore our program will interpret a mouse click as a keystroke. For the purposes of our program, we want to exclude this functionality. The left click will return the decimal 1 and the right click will return decimal 2. We must have a condition that terminates the save function when either of these two numbers are received. Scroll your mouse down to the save function. Above the cout, we're going to make another line here on 27. If return 0. Okay, now within these parentheses in the if I'm going to do two parentheses and or another parenthesis. So now we're going to check to see if keystroke equals 1 or keystroke equals 2. So if keystroke equals 1 or if keystroke equals 2, we return an integer and thus ending the function. Let's make another line here. I'm going to press F9 to execute the program and see if it works. So when I click my mouse, there is nothing on the screen. I'm going to close this, and I'm going to comment this out real quick to see if that, just to show you guys how when I click, I actually get ASCII decimals. And we don't want that for the purposes of what we're doing. Now we must declare an object to control our output file. We will be using the Windows object file to do this. We will also make the variable a pointer to the memory address of the file. So we're going to type this below this return 0. I'm going to make another line, start this on line 30, and it's going to be all capital letters, FILE, star, output file, semicolon. Now that the object is declared, we must tell it what file to work with. We will do this by using the built-in function fopen. So we'll do output file equals FOPEN, and inside of these parentheses, we're going to pass it two parameters, file, comma, and in quotation marks, A+. We can take note that the file is sent from the main function right here. So we can look back and see that the file that we'll be working with is log.txt. The option A+ will concatenate every new addition to the file at the end without deleting anything or writing over existing data. Now that we have our file object configured to work with the correct file, we must now give it the ability to write to the file. We will use the built-in function fprintf. Below this, push enter. On line 32, type fprintf, and then this is a function. We're going to send it a few parameters, output underscore file, comma, in parentheses, %s, lowercase, space, ampersand, keystroke. The function is passed a few parameters. The first is the information about the output file, basically where it is, what it's called, and how to store the data. The second %s option is telling the fprint function to store the data as a string, meaning store the literal letters and numbers as their character value and not their numerical value. The next is the actual keystroke pressed. So in plain words, this function will store into a file we designated as a string the value of the key that was pressed. Now we must close the stream to the file so it can properly be saved and made ready for more data later. Go down to line number 33, type fclose, and this is a function, and we're going to send this output file. And this return 0 is going to send control back to the main function. Let's press F9 and run this. So I should be able to type the letters WIBIT, and I'm going to close the program. I'm going to minimize dev C++, and I'm going to open the keylog folder that we created before. Inside the keylog folder, there is now a file called log.txt. If I double click and open this, it has the word WiBit in the file. So far, so good. There are some exceptions, however. Once your program is up to this point, continue to the next video so we can address these exceptions. Before continuing on, make sure that you delete the log.txt file. That way when we come back, it'll be nice and fresh for us.